So this video is going to be all the modifications and setup on the off-road lawnmower. This is going to be the same kind of video as I did on the racing mower, which you cannot see right now, but well, now you can, right there. If you want to see the full build playlist on the off-road lawnmower, I put a link down below so you can go check that out and watch any video you want if you want to see anything more specific. And just to let you know, the theme of this mower is based on the World War II Army Jeeps, because I mean, you can't compare a Jeep to a lawnmower, but what I'm saying is, you know, you got the olive green color, you got the ATV capabilities, you got the reliability, the simpleness of it, the ease of fix of it, that sort of thing. So this mower originally started out life as a Craftsman LT1000 42-inch cut, which the mower deck is right over there. Used to have a 21 horse Pose twin on it, which is currently on the racing mower right now. What's on it now is a 16 horse OHV 31 cubic inch Brazen Stratton. Runs just great, hadn't had any problems with it. Used to be my granddaddy's. I remember cutting grass on it a long time ago, and about a little over a year ago he gave it to me because he retired it, and that's when it turned into the off-road mower. This mower used to be known as the donor lawnmower, but it's kind of the opposite of a donor now. So from a first overview, it just looks like a regular stock lawnmower with the deck removed, but it has a lot more modifications than just that. So we'll start off at the front, and the first thing you can see is the headlight is custom painted. The reason I did that is because two headlights look better than just one big bar, and the lighting was really only coming out of this spot right here, so this part just kind of made no sense. So I painted it in. I know it's not the exact color, but it looks a lot better in my opinion. And I put a Go Power Sports sticker on there, cut out in a Chevrolet emblem, just to kind of add a little bit of detail. The second thing is a front bumper that came off of a Murray lawnmower that my dad made. So I robbed it and put it on the off-road mower. It's some kind of thin steel bolted on here. It does the job. It's not going to survive a demolition derby, but you know, it does a good job at, you know, knocking most things out of the way. Here you can see a somewhat shackle hook right here. This is a 2.5 inch exhaust clamp. I just threw it in there because the bolt holes lined up fine. It's laying around not doing anything. The hood is completely stock, but what I did was I drilled a hole right here in the hood, and well, I can't really do it with one hand now, but you push that down, you put the little pin through it, and the reason I did that because every time I take it off-road, the thing will, you know, well, it doesn't do it now because of that, but it wants to vibrate around and come all up and everything, so I did that. All you gotta do is remove it, and that way you can pop the hood up just like that. You see the headlights right there, and these are LED headlights that are in there. The mounting tab on the left broke, which is really screwed up. The steering, welded on some steering stops right there, so that way this wheel will not go all the way over and completely just gouge my hood. Put some bolts in on this side and on the other side, so it kind of locks this axle in place, because that moving all around, the front was like wanting to do all this bull crap and gouge into the hood right there, because it already did it one time. So that's why I kind of locked that up solid. And the main spindles right here are really loose, so this little steel rod that goes over the spindle that sits inside of here, I actually welded this in place inside of here, so the steering has hardly any play whatsoever. It still has a little bit more to steer, but you know what I mean, and still allow it to grease and all that stuff. That right there, the stupid ball and socket unit fell out and it screwed me over in the middle of the wood, so I drilled a hole completely through it, and I put I think this is a 3/8 bolt all the way through, and just tightened it like as tight as I could with putting some washers right there, but loose enough so it can move, and there's hardly any play. And as you can see, I did the same modification at the steering box. This mower is fortunate because it has the second generation steering, as you can see right there. And now if you look at the steering, there's hardly any steering wheel play. So the motor, as I said before, is pretty much stock. I never really had it apart. The only thing I really did was add this Harbor Freight 4-inch pulley right here to have my emergency pull starter, and it works very nice. The motor did not come with an air box. This is a new filter and pre-filter, but I put a piece of tape right here just to help with a little bit in cooling. And the other main modification is obviously the exhaust, and you may wonder why in the crap is this like this. It's because this used to be the header that when it was on the racing mower, just kind of shot out the side like this, but since I put this on the off-road mower, I don't want to cut and redo this header, so I just added on to it, and that runs down into this 2.5 inch pipe, and then that just runs straight outside. And if you look on the old Army Jeeps from World War II, specifically the Ford ones, the exhaust actually comes out just like this, just right on the side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of redo some of that, but works all right for now. Now the fuel system and throttle system, I've modified the crap out of it. This is the stock fuel tank, which I painted it with black spray paint, but you know, the petroleum is like eating away the paint. So it kind of looks like crap right now, but probably gonna have to repaint that soon. The fuel line comes out of there into this T-handle. This is a mini auxiliary fuel tank, which actually came off of a bar and chain oil reservoir from a pole saw. I basically mounted it on here, put my fuel line in right here, and I can basically fill this little tank up with fuel and switch over to auxiliary, and I get a little bit extra fuel. And obviously that just runs to the fuel filter and then right to the carburetor. And I think this carburetor is original to this engine. So you can see one throttle cable, a second throttle cable, and my choke cable right here. And I have had tons of comments about my throttle pedal. Well, here it is. This part is actually original on the lawnmower, and that part used to like hang right here or right down there. I think it hung like right there, and that was to hold the whole mower deck up. I basically robbed it and put a bolt in there, tightened it just enough to where, you know, this is loose, and then hooked the return spring on right here, and then hooked my throttle cable here, and that just runs right into this little tab here. I bolted on the side, as you can see. Took a lot of adjusting, and this is a throttle stop, so I don't rip the throttle cable out. And as you can see, works fine. And that cable just runs right to the stock location. And I put a return spring on there, so it works fine. Now these two levers right here, this one is my choke. And as you can see, when I'm moving that, you can kind of see that working. And this one, I get a lot of questions about this one. This is a secondary hand throttle. And what that does is that runs to a piece of fishing line that runs right there to that erector set piece. And that basically sits right there, if I can get a good film. And as I move it, it pulls directly on the governor arm. And I have the idle really low on this thing. So let's say I'm pull starting or something like that. I can turn the throttle up, turn the choke up, and it'll pull start no problem. And you can raise the idle up a certain amount. So let's say you're going through a mud puddle or something like that and you don't want the motor to stall. And you know, you can just kind of goose it whenever you want to. Let's move on to wiring. I have completely rewired this entire lawnmower. Nothing is pretty much factory. Put a push button ignition right here. I put a simple on-off kill switch right there. Installed a tachometer and put my headlights right here. This is a 3-position switch, which I kind of made a mistake of buying it, but I decided to make something of it. So when you flip it down with the headlights in the down position, it runs directly off the alternator. So it gets brighter and dimmer as you rev the motor. But when you flip it up, so you can see right here, that's connected to the battery. This is a new battery, by the way, 275 cold cranking amps. Yeah, my sketchy wiring, but works great. And it's a custom battery mount, basically the old mower deck hardware, just welded onto the frame, and with these bolts on here to secure it down. Okay, so onto the clutch and belt systems. You may notice that the clutch pedal is exactly the same, but I put skateboard grip tape around it because, you know, when I like to push the clutch in, especially when you're spinning around the mud doing donuts, your foot wants to slip off of it. So I put this on there so when you push your clutch in, your foot's not going to slip off and you can actually stop. But the general system is pretty much stock with a few modifications. That right there is the old mower deck drive pulley cut and re-welded on top of the shaft. I kind of did a butcher job at it, so I'm probably gonna get like a 6-inch pulley or something later on because I would like a slightly bigger pulley. Just be sure if you're doing that modification, you measure and double check everything. That is the original clutch spring. Well, you can't really see it, with a slightly puny little spring attached on top of it. I would like to get a stronger clutch spring, but you know, I just really hadn't found one really. And don't feel like taking the thing back apart again, so for right now it works okay. You know, the stock idler pulley, and that right there is my adjustable belt tensioner, and that is from the old shifting linkage from the racing mower. You see it right there. You basically unbolt those bolts and you can move this pulley in or out to put tension on your belt. This is a 91-inch belt, and I have it to where it's the perfect amount of tension. So let's say, you know, your lawnmower takes a 92-inch belt and, you know, the store don't have a 92-inch belt. Well, you can put a 91, 93, 94, whatever you want and still be able to run it. And it really does help a lot with the belt slippage issue if you're driving through mud, water, and things of that nature. And the pulley on the back is a 5-inch pulley. And yeah, it works great. It's pretty much a 1-to-1 ratio. This is a 5.5, but it's a deep well. So there you go. The mower deck lever is actually my brake. You know, they're kind of loose at the moment, so I'm gonna have to go back through and tighten them up. But you know, this is your brake, and you can push it in and have like a parking brake, something like that. You can see where I cut the teeth out, so that thing can move, and then you can lock it in. And as you can see, that is original mower deck hardware attached to a little thing right there, which I made. And that is the old clutch rod cut and re-welded, and then just ran that straight to the brakes, and it works all right. All right, so now we're on to the rear end, and to continue on, the shifter is completely stock. I have not changed that whatsoever. The seat has obviously seen better days. If you lift this up, you can obviously tell the back is completely different. This rear rack right here, this portion of it, it was completely original, but I welded on these pipe fittings right here, so that way I can have some handles and you can kind of throw something back here and it won't fall out. And I love these handles going around turns because you can hold on to it and not feel like you're gonna flip over and fall off of the thing, because the seat and steering wheel was like the only thing you could hold on to at the time. You may also notice this lid right here, and this piece of steel was actually from the front part, which covered the exhaust and muffler. I took that off, put this straight, put some hinges on here, and put this little lock on here, and actually made this like a mini trunk. It's about 6 inches by 6 inches deep and about 10 or so inches wide. But yeah, it has plenty enough storage, you know, to throw whatever you want in there. It's a little toolkit, rope, whatever you want. And then you can see these fenders that I made on the side, and I did that because the wheel came way out here, and every time I even just remotely thought about going through a mud puddle, I would get completely covered, which some of you are going to argue with me saying, well, if you go through a mud puddle, you're going to get wet. Yes, I agree with you, but you know, sometimes I just want to kind of go through it and not get completely covered. So that's why I put this on the side, and that's why the cup holder is mainly in place right there, even though I don't use it as a cup holder. I just use it to take up the huge massive hole. And this is actually the lawn edging stuff the Fearless Front used. Just basically drilled a hole in it and bolted it right to the fender right here, and I put some mounting tabs all along the side, as you can see right there, and just bolted it, or actually zip tied it directly down, and does a pretty good job. Doesn't look completely stupid. There's a trunk right there, as you can see, but you may notice that the back does not have the full plate. And I used to have it, but some reason aliens abducted that part and I have no idea where it's at. So I put this piece of angle iron right here, made a whole mount for it and everything, and this is a 2-inch ball I screwed onto it. So that way, number one, this angle iron is gonna have something to kind of help keep the rear end a little bit sturdier so the transaxle is not doing all the work. And second, I can also pull a trailer and have something to tie a rope around to be able to pull something. The transaxle equipped in this mower is a Tecumseh Peerless MST206. Really good transaxle that is locked, actually. And I know some of y'all are going to say, well, why don't you get some bigger, better, more ATV tires for it? These are 20 by 10 by 8, and my selection for ATV tires this size are kind of limited, and you know, they're really expensive. But the way they bolt on is completely stock. I kind of like turf tires for a couple of reasons. Yes, you're going to get stuck. I mean, they're not going to go through some huge monster mud hole, but you know, if you got a welded diff with turf tires, because with it open, it kind of really sucks. But if you got a welded diff, when it's raining, or if you're going through like some light mud or something like that, it's so much fun drifting around in circles and stuff like that and just sliding around. Now, if you have turf tires, you don't want to change your tires. If you want to go off-roading, you can lower the tire pressure a lot. And on the front tires, these are really low PSI too. I would like some more grippier front tires, because I mean, with a welded diff trying to turn, especially in mud, they don't want to grip up that nice. So I might be changing that in the near future. But if you're like me and you want to slide around and all that kind of stuff, I put a lot of air pressure in these tires to about maybe 15 or so, maybe 18, something like that, really high. But that's if you want to really slide around and have more fun. because in my opinion, I'd rather have slicker tires and going through light mud and wet grass, just drifting around in the rain and stuff, and then going through one huge monster mud hole and getting stuck. Everybody has their thing they want to do. Whatever you like to do is whatever you should do, and that's what makes you happy. For me, sliding around on mud puddles and grass makes me happy, so that's what I'm gonna do. This here is actually a piece of paper I made in school of off-road lawnmower modifications. The check mark is everything I've done, but the ones that aren't checked is something I would actually like to do later on, maybe. So that's pretty much all the modifications on the off-road mower. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your mower is set up, or leave a video link and I might go check yours out if you make a video on it. So y'all know the drill. Thumbs down twice if you didn't like it. 3 more doesn't work, and y'all should see me in the next one.